Hey everybody, this is Guy with Survive. Today we're going to be taking a look at two very different GSO 5.1s. The model on the bottom came in for service recently. That is a 2014 era GSO 5.1, and above it is a brand new Survive manufactured made GSO 5.1. This is our latest iteration of this model, and we're just going to take a side-by-side look at those, and then I'll go into a little more detail about some of the changes to this more recent model. So yeah, we're going to put this one out of the way for a second. So this GSO 5.1, like I said, was manufactured back in 2014. We didn't really control any of the manufacturing at that time. We were more of a finishing company, and we relied on service contractors for all of the manufacturing aspects of bringing this together. So these blanks were laser cut down in Hanover, Pennsylvania at the time, and then they were sent off to Peter's Heat Treat for heat treating and sent to the left coast for grinding and tumbling services. And we're utilizing a different company in Michigan for handle machining. I will say that this GSO 5.1 was modified when it came back in addition to being resharpened. Some of the fit and finish was just a little egregious by today's standards, so I went ahead and reprofiled some of this blade to bring it down to a better tolerance to these handles. Additionally, I did micro texture these G10 handles. This is an older, more open weave G10. It looks pretty cool. And some of you guys will know that our G10 used to be a lot smoother. It was a hand-finished material. We've since moved away from that to this nicely texturized, micro-textured surface. So in addition to the reprofiling, I did take a little nubbin off here and opened up this finger choil just to allow a little more natural spacing in there for an index finger, especially a fatter one like mine. So yeah, here's this one. You can see that the handles are a bit blockier than they are today. We did have some design and manufacturing limitations, and it's also very hard when you're trying to convey things over 1,000 miles to a contract manufacturer. So things came out a little more square than I think were ideal. It had a blockier feeling, and I know this was definitely the model that put us on the map, but there were some things when it all came together here that I knew pretty immediately that I wanted to work on refining. This radius here in the index finger pocket was a little tighter than I would have liked, and due to the blockier nature of the handles, it kind of created a hot spot here across the side of my index finger. Just made it feel a little more crammed than I would have liked. And during use, I know during the grip test this is a very comfortable handle, but during use, the pommel sides of the handles here ended up being back in the meat of my hand more than I would have liked. That was some of the early critical feedback there as well from some of you users. So we've worked to just improve this whole thing in every area of design, moving into being our own manufacturing company. So this was, I believe, about 10.5 inches overall length and 11.8 inches. The newer model has grown by about 3/4 of an inch overall, and even with all the handle lengthening and different improvements we've made, it's gained less than 1 ounce. The new model weighs 12.7 ounces versus 11.8 ounces. So back then our sheaths were made by Kydex Sheath Systems. It was a pancake style design. He did really good work, but there were just a few little things fit and finish wise that I'm glad we were able to dial in. Being a pancake design, during sheathing and unsheathing, there was a tendency for the sheath to bite your thumb. A lot of companies make their sheaths this way. I don't prefer it for that reason. And we've also sucked a lot of the width out now with our new model compared to this older one. Additionally, our retention clips are quite a bit different. We've moved from these lower MOLLE compatible clips to an offset plate and a single belt loop. It's also MOLLE compatible. It's just not the 2 prongs. So there's that model. Let's see the original hidden lanyard hole concept that came about back in 2013. We've stuck with that for obvious reasons. So now let's look at our new GSO 5.1. So there it is. Like I said, this is about 11 1/4, just a little over, and weighs 12.7 ounces now with this iteration. A nice byproduct of lengthening this handle is our balance is darn near perfect. I think this knife is just generally, if you're looking for a full-size outdoor knife, this is a beautiful functional model. The balance point falls right over the middle of the index pocket there. So even though it is 12.7 ounces, it's very neutrally balanced in the handle and just feels really lively and lighter than the amount of ounces. Oh, there's some rain. So, looking at that sheath system there, let's move this down a little bit. We have retained a lot of the same design characteristics from the original model. Here we've got the drain channel that gives that water a place to go. Surface tension is definitely a problem in a Kydex sheath. With a little bit of space between the blade and the Kydex, the water just kind of wants to cling there. So we've given that a place to go and drain out the bottom. And like I said, we've got our new mounting system here. And if you prefer tech lock or those different molly clips or different things, there's lots of eyelets and slots here to mount a wide array of things on any of our knife sheaths. Whether you want a ferro rod or pouch, sharpening kit, anything is pretty much going to mount to this. We have a really good positive click there and a very natural thumb press. So you just push with your thumb and that'll jump out of there. Push it back in, just sends it home. It's a rattle-free package there. And like I said, this isn't going to bite your finger anymore since there is a seam across the whole spine here. Really, really proud of the work that Armory Plastics is doing here for us. It's just, they do amazing work with all of their Kydex. Jumping back into the knife itself, you can see we've relaxed that guard area here so that my finger more naturally rests in there. It's not binding, I don't feel boxed in at all. And I can definitely slack back for a really natural grip if I want to do some chopping or if I want to do some batoning work and just get my hand more out of the way. I can easily facilitate that without any hot spots. In addition to lengthening the handle, all of our contouring is much softer and more rounded now. So there's just nothing obnoxious at all about this workspace that you have. It's compliant with a wide variety of grips depending on what type of work you're doing, and just a really, really nice package. We have added more jimping cutouts here in the event that you want to choke up here to do a little bit finer work. You still have really, really good placement for just a sure grip up there doing more delicate work. So there it is. Got a few little Kydex pieces there. So on top of the design itself changing a little bit, moving into becoming our own manufacturing company, we just really want to do the very, very best job possible. So like I said, we've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. Thanks to 3D printing, we've just done a lot of iterations and fine-tuning with all of our new models coming out, just to make sure they're as comfortable, functional, and ergonomically sound as possible. So taking a look at the workmanship, compared to our older models, everything now is precision machined. We've really, really tight fit and finish here between our handle and tang. Everything's very smooth. The machining is very tight. Still have our hidden lanyard pocket there. It's much more generous these days. And everything is 3D surfaced in there. So there is a nice radius leading out of there. And then the very newest 5.1s are also going to have a chamfer in the tang around there, just to really help that lanyard fish around through there easily. Looking at our grinding, this is something we've spent a lot of time on since bringing this capability in-house. All of our grinds are very, very smooth and uniform from side to side. We're shooting for about plus minus 0.005 of an inch on our bevel matching. So you'll notice all the breakouts here as the grinds end are very even out at the tip there. The plunges are very even, and the grind uniformity side to side and within each grind is very even and uniform. Because all this grinding is very tight, you'll also see our edge uniformity is almost absolute. We're shooting for less than a 1 thou variance through the whole cutting edge. And yeah, we still send all of our blades back to the East Coast. It's not the most functional for workflow, but they just do a really, really good job. All of our blades are double cryo, triple tempered during heat treat for the very best durability and performance possible. So there you are. Hope you've enjoyed this comparison video. There's the whole thing put away. And here's the original. So thanks to the user who sent this in and being agreeable to us shooting a video using your knife. I really appreciate that, and I really hope you like the tune-up work that we did for you there as a thank you for allowing us to use this in the video. Anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them. I will get over there and have a look as I have time and answer them as I get a few minutes in between the other work that we're doing here. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and yeah, keep submitting these video ideas. I'm happy to do these in the off hours here on the weekends. So whatever, if you have a reasonable idea, just shoot it on over and we'll have a look, and hopefully it'll make a new video feature for you. Anyway, have a great day, and talk to you again soon.